What up, everyone? Super Rugby Round 3 preview brought to you by Ndegz. This is box to box overlap, guys. I've been watching Super Rugby for a long time, but this season I said I have to actually do sports content, or rather content on it since I already do sports content. This is overlap. Welcome, Super Rugby preview Round 3. Today we're going to talk about the Super Rugby Legends 15. They've named the one prop and one hooker, so we're looking at the next prop. The voting is open, so we're going to vote as well. Injury news before round 3, the fixtures, we're going to look at the table, and then we do a game by game preview, just going over who's been selected, who's been dropped, and then we vote for Super Rugby Legend, and finally we check on my fantasy team for this weekend. So without further ado, let's just start with the news from this week. News from this week, we have Kevin Mealamu has been selected. Where is that tab? I had opened the tab, guys. Where is the tab? Where is the tab? All right, so Kevin Mealamu has been selected, has been inducted into the Super Rugby Legends 15. And tight head prop voting open. So open side was the selection was what was the selection? It was Wyatt Crockett got the number 1 for the number 2 Kevin Mealamu. So tight head is open and we're going to vote right now. So the contenders are Tom Robertson, Western Force, Alan Alatoa, who's played for the Brumbies, Taniela Tupo, Sekope Kepu, who's played for the Waratahs, and I believe he played for Moana Pasifika. Hanasa Saulo, Carl Heyman, legend. Owen Franks, Tyrell Lomax, Sekope Kepu is there. Ben Tamifuna, Big Ben, and then Ulu Brown. Of all these people together that really watched that really made an impact, not just in Super Rugby, but also at the All Blacks, man, is Owen Franks. First of all, I don't know why this thing doesn't include South Africans. I feel like it should, even though I know they're not part of the competition, and I get the whole politics behind it, but they played such a big role in making Super Rugby what it is now. So I'm just quite sad that South Africans are not there. But I'm going with Owen Franks as my pick, and my vote is in. So we wait for the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 15. I can't wait for the Bucks selection, but that's it for my vote for the tight head. So hopefully Owen Franks gets in alongside Wyatt Crockett and Kevin Mealamu. Now we are going to look at the injury news ahead of week 3. So Blues, Cam Christie out for the season. Corey Evans out, Fusitua elbow out, Jordan Lay, Peyton Spencer, Patrick Tuipilotu is out with a shoulder, Flynn Yates. The Brumbies don't have 3 players. Lachlan Lonergan, Tom Wright, and Alan Alatoa. The Chiefs, Jerome Brown concussion, Brody McAllister should be back in round 5, Isaac Hutchinson, Damien McKenzie out on paternity leave alongside Cortez Ratima, who just scored a try against the Highlanders in the first game and went to become a dad. Congratulations, the 2 of you. Crusaders, Marcus Springer, Mitch Drummond, Johnny McNichol, Liam Jack, Kunawave, Robert, Cullen Grace, Revis Reihana, Cody Taylor. Ooh, that's crazy. Fijian Drua, Dolokoto, Tuni, Kuruvoli, Nawai, Mayanavanua, Loganimasi are the 6 players that are out. For the Highlanders, Fabian Holland is out shoulder for the whole season. We mentioned that I think last week. Dylan Pledger, ACL, out for the whole season. Tito Harris, Finn Halley, Dylan Pledger out for the whole season. Angus Ta'ava, who is out on compassionate leave. For those of you that don't know, he's going through a tough time, so send your prayers out to Angus Ta'ava. Then the Hurricanes, Brett Cameron, Caleb Delaney, Duplessis Kirifi should be out for 1 week. Tamati Jai is out 8 to 10 weeks. Harry Godfrey out for the season. Ruben Love out for 3 to 5 weeks, which is good news because it looked quite... that was Brett Cameron last week who got injured. Anyway, Ruben Love should be back in 3 to 5 weeks. It was Brett Cameron, I believe, but it's to be confirmed because it didn't look good at all. Josh Tinmu and Kini Naholo should be back in 1 to 3 weeks. Then for Moana Pasifika, Agustin Pulu, Liota, Jimmy Tupo, Nico Jones, Paul Alatu, Toleafoa, and William Havili are out. For the Reds, Brosnan, Conway, Lutis, Lina, McCulloch, McDermott, Will Ross, Uru, Volavola. That's a huge list of players. And then Western Force have Nick Champion out for Tuaika, and Dylan Pish are medium-term foot injuries. Alex Harford out long-term shoulder, and Doug Phillipson out long-term with a knee injury. So that's the injury news heading into week 3. And as we head into week 3, these are the games that we have to look forward to in another incredible week of Super Rugby. So we have Moana Pasifika versus Western Force on Friday, and then the Australian kickoff. That you know what I'm saying. Reds taking on the Highlanders. That should be interesting. Reds, who we've mentioned, have a lot of injuries, but playing the Highlanders. Both teams, I believe, are yet to win, if I'm not wrong. Then we have on Saturday 3 games. Fijian Drua taking on the Hurricanes. This game is going to be in. Where is this game being played? I saw where the place where it's being played. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. And then Chiefs taking on the Crusaders, repeat of the final last year. Crusaders are coming off 2 really crazy games. The second one being the craziest, losing by 50 at home in your home opener as the champions. Is wild work. So yeah, we're hosting the Crusaders, and then the Brumbies take on the Blues in what should be a blockbuster in the last game of Super Rugby in week 3. Looking at the table, we have the Brumbies with 10 points, the Waratahs with 10 as well, the Chiefs have 8, and then the Hurricanes with 5 points. Yeah, Blues 5, Highlanders 5. Crusaders are in 8th place with 1 point. They did this last year. They started slow after having one of the worst seasons the year before that, and then they just came back and won. So you can never rule them out. And they're one of those teams, even if they finish like 4th or 5th, it's good. These guys can just run through the table all the way to the final. So, yeah. The Reds, the Drua, and the Force are yet to win a game. Are yet to get a point, rather. And the Crusaders are yet to win a game. So, there's Crusaders, Reds, Fijian, Drua, and Western Force yet to win a game in Super Rugby, whereas the Brumbies and the Waratahs have full points. The Waratahs are not playing this weekend, so yeah, it's going to be an interesting. They'll still maintain like a good position, to be honest, because getting bonus point in your first 2 games is actually goes a long way. It goes a long way. So yeah, that is that. We are now going to do a preview for each team, and I'm just going to give you guys the lineups and who I think is going to win the game after that. And yeah, we move on. Sweet. Game 1, Moana Pasifika taking on the Western Force. Moana have named Tito Tuipulotu, Sanerivi of Pua, Savage, Craig, Miracle Failangi, the man who's just been scoring tries. He's actually on a different level from number 6, and the captain as well. Semesi Paya, Semisi Tupo Tailoa at the 10, Jonathan Taumatene, Pellegrini at the 10, Solomon Alaimalong, Gani Laumape, Lalomilo, Tevita Ofa, and Glenn Vayu. I saw someone on the bench that I wanted to mention. Jackson Garden Bishop is going to be the replacement at the 10 for Moana Pasifika. Western Force, we have Tom Robertson, Nick Dolly, Harry Johnson Holmes, Franco Molina, liking that, and Darcy Swain. Like the 1 to 5 is so good. Jeremy Williams, the captain, Carlo Tizano, who can stop scoring, Vailonia Kwasi, Nathan Hasty, Ben Donaldson, Belen Kunzuk, Hamish Stewart, George Bridge, who's been looking quite impressive at the 13 and also playing as a fast receiver at points and not afraid to kick, especially behind the back line. Really, really fascinating how they're using him. Darby Lancaster and Mark Greeley. And yeah, Catley Bill is on the bench if you are interested. This game is. I feel like this game is one. This is one of the games they were really targeting because Moana rested some players last week, just knowing they're coming here, and they were hit heavy by the Hurricanes, who just look like a juggernaut. So yeah, this is a game that they're targeting. For them, this is a home game. Whereas Western Force, they've been getting first game they really didn't get points on the board. I think it was against the Waratahs, but this last game that they lost to the Blues, they really showed that they can put points. Even though the conditions were not great, the wind was crazy. They had the wind in their favor in the first half. Second half, they were just run over by the Blues. But they just don't give up. So for me, this game is going to be a high-scoring game. But I think I'll just give the edge to Moana Pasifika to get their second win of the season over the Western Force. Then in game 2, we have the Queensland Reds taking on the Highlanders. And this is how the Reds are going to line up. Aiden Ross at the 1, Matt Fessler and Zen Nongo at the 3, Josh Kenham, Lucan Salakaya Loto at the 5, Joe Bryle, Fraser McCright, who's the captain, Harry Wilson, Lewis Watchon, Carter Gordon, Tim Ryan, Hunter Paisami, Josh Fluke, Lucky Anderson, Jock Campbell. This team is just, it's just there. It's just there. They have benched Filippo Daugunu for this game. Is definitely going to come off the bench. And Jeffrey Tumanga Allen, who was an interesting signing for them as well. Long-time Hurricane, right? Yes. And then the Highlanders, Ethan de Groot, Jack Taylor, Rohan Wingham, Will Stoddart and Mitch Dunshee at the 4 and 5. Tay Kamaka Howden, Sean Withy is going to be the co-captain. Lucas Casey, who comes back. Last game, I think he left at halftime against the Chiefs. Adam Lennox is the surprise starter in place of Folau Fakatava. And to be honest, I was quite interested I was quite fascinated. When he came on off the bench last week, saved a try from Samisoni Takiao off a line out. He just is, he's everywhere, bro. He's just like a baby Dupo, if I could say. Then Cam Miller at the 10, who had a really good game last week, kicking. And then I feel like they kind of just lost that game once Pasitoa came on and tried kicking. They scored the tries but couldn't make the conversions. Cam Miller, let's see what he does. Then my favorite backline in Super Rugby, Jonah Nareki at the 11, Timothy Tava Nawai at the 12, Jonah Lowe at the 13, Caleb Tagitao, Speedster at the 14, and then the fullback, Jacob Ratumai Tavuki Nipkins. This backline is my favorite backline in Super Rugby. I love my Chiefs first. Then after that, it's anyone else. But this Highlanders backline is it. Tava Nawai is just, last year he led the whole Super Rugby in line breaks and turnovers. Who does that? Those are stats that you get in a center, like a 13 and a flanker. Now you get both in a 12. Like, that's just crazy. Let's start there. Caleb Tangitao, his pace he smoked us last week, smoked the Crusaders the week before. Like, his pace is just insane. Ratumai Tavuki Nipkins from fullback, the guy is just has that 7th gene, you know? John Anareki is, you know? This team is crazy. And for that reason, I'm backing the Highlanders to beat the Reds. The Reds just have way too many injuries. As I had mentioned in the injuries earlier, let me just go over who they will have injured. Charlie Brosnan, Nicholas Conway, Massimo Dulutis, Tom Liner, Tate McDermott, Will Ross, Seru Uru, Ben Volavola, Will McCulloch. Man. I'm going with the Highlanders. I'll go with the Highlanders win. And they're playing for their brother Angus Tarvao. So, yeah. Highlanders to beat the Reds in Brisbane. After that game, we have the Fijian Drua taking on the Hurricanes. And the Drua have hated Togiatama and Doge at the 1, 2, 3, Voce, Nasilasila at the 4 and 5, Etonia Waka, Motikai Mare, Elia Kanakaivata, Frank Lomani is the captain, Armstrong Ravula at the 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is Epile Momo, Isikeli Rabitu, Tuidraki Samusamuvodre, Georgi Nasova, and Ilaisa Droasese. again, just people who just carry the ball. Just Kana Kaivata from this, whatever, from the, what is it called? From the number 8 position, also just great ball carrier. Like, yeah, just a very interesting team to watch. Even though people are putting in tries past them. Then the Hurricanes, they're playing the Hurricanes. The team that was really impressive last week. Puri Rakete Stones at the one. Asafo Aumua, I believe, is his first game, if I'm not wrong. Tevita Mafileo, Hugo Plama, Warner Deans, and Devon Flanders, Peter Lakai, and Brandon Iose. So Flanders, Lakai, and Iose at the 6, 7, 8. Cam Roygard and Callum Harkin at the 9 and 10. Harkin, I think, moves in from the wing. I believe he got a hat-trick last week. So he moves in from the wing. I didn't even know he plays 10. So after the injury to Brett Cameron, who got injured last week, as we said, it looked like a nasty injury. So Callum Harkin comes in at the 10. I know he plays 10, as I've said. So he's going to start there. I feel like I've repeated myself 5 times. Finenge Anofo at the 11. Jody Barrett captains the side from the 12. Billy Proctor starts the game. Billy Proctor came on last week off the bench and he was amazing. Like, you can just tell, sometimes when you watch, like, the internationals go back to their club and you're like, yeah, there's a difference. It happens a lot with Leinster. Like, when the players come back from Ireland, you just see, well, Munster as well. Like, you just see, like, when the internationals come back, the team is different. That is what Billy Proctor did. Like, the guy was just, he was breaking tackles, try assist, scored a try. I'm just like, bro, you have to start for the All Blacks. That's a story for another day. Bellin Sullivan at the 14, and then now Josh Moby comes in at moves to the 15. Ngani Punivai is the sub at 15. Brad Shields is also back, by the way, guys. Siale Lawaki, Walker Leawere. They have this squad is really, really good. Then, as I said, the 6, 7, 8, Flanders, Lakai, and Yose, the way they carry and always get over the advantage line, just momentum. They just come at you. They are so relentless. Hurricanes are actually a relentless side. Very, very tough to play against. But yeah, with that being said, I feel like they're going to beat Fijian, Drua. I know the game is going to be in Fiji. It's going to be a bit emotional. Fiji they play with emotion all the time, like in a good way, They just know how to channel it. It's being played in Churchill Park in Lautoka. That's the place I was trying to look for. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But I feel like the Hurricanes will win it, even though I don't feel like it'll be as big a scoreline as how the Moana game went. But yeah, still, I picked the Hurricanes to win this game. All right, the game of the weekend. Chiefs versus the Crusaders. This is how my Chiefs look like. Chiefs. Jared Prophet, Samisoni Takiao and George Dyer, the 1, 2, and 3. Josh Lord, Tupovai at the 4 and 5. Simon Parker, Kaylan Boshier, and Luke Jacobson at the 8. He's our captain. Xavier Rowe comes in, as we mentioned. Cortez Ratima is out on paternity leave. And then we have Josh Jacob continuing at 10. Damon McKenzie is still out. Then at the 11, Leroy Carter. 12-13 is Quinn Tupai and Daniel Rona, Imoni Narawa, and Etene Nanai Seturu. Lalakai Foketi is on the bench. Cook Savage as well. Wale Sititi is back. Wale Sititi is back on the bench. Triple T, Teto Iroata Uriorangi is our 9 sub. And Sami Penny Finau, Ruben O'Neill, Kumeroa, and Tyrone Thompson. I'm liking the squad. Crusaders. This is how they line up. Tamaiti Williams, George Bell, Fletcher Newell, Antonio Shalfoon, and Jamie Hanna, 4 and 5. Dom Gardner, Ethan Blagada, and Christian Leo Willie at the 6, 7, and 8. Then Noah Hotham, Taha Kemara continue as the halfback combination with Severis at the 11. Havili captains the side. Leicester Fainga Anuku, Chefi Haki at the 12 and 13. And then Fainga Anuku at 13, Chefi Haki at the 14, and Will Jordan continues at fullback. Their bench is it's not so strong. Dallas McLeod, James White, Chapman, Corricello, Cahill, Calder, Bauer, and Letu. When I say it's not strong, it is strong, but not it doesn't have the same depth that the Crusaders bench have had, but also just because of injuries. They are missing Marcus Springer, Mitch Drummond, Johnny McNichol, Kunawavi, Callen Grace, Revis Rehana, Cody Taylor. So they are missing quite a number of players, but I will never write out a Crusader side. I learned my lesson, and then I didn't, and then I unlearned it, and then I learned it again. and then last year in the final, learnt it even more. So, yeah, cannot rule out a Crusaders side. But, yeah, I just feel like they're just coming off, just the injuries is just a bit too much. And they are, defensively, they don't look as sharp to start the season. It's just like a very un-Crusaders-like mistakes. Like, every time you watch, there's certain teams when you watch, you're just like, there's certain things I don't expect of you defensively. The ease with which the Brumbies were getting over the advantage line. And even with the sin bin, they were still managing to cause a lot of trouble to the Crusaders. Yeah. It's going to be a narrow one, but I'm going to back my Chiefs. I'm going to say Chiefs are going to win. And it's going to be like a 2 or 3 point win. It's not going to be huge. But yeah, that is what I think is going to happen. Chiefs versus Crusaders. Then we have the ACT Brumbies taking on the Blues. This is how the Brumbies line up. Mr. 200, the man who made 200 appearances last week, James Slipper, also scored his 10th try. 10 in 200. That's a strike. That's a strike rate of 1 in every 20 games. Billy Pollard, Rhys Van Neck, Lucky Shaw, Kedrin Neville, the 4 and 5, Rob Valentini, Rory Scott, and Charlie Cale, who cannot stop scoring. This guy is just, I think he's the top try scorer in Super Rugby, if I'm not wrong. Rand Lonergan, the scrum half, is the captain. Declan Meredith starts at the 10. Then Corey Toole, the speedster on the wing. David Feliawi and Kedin Pritchard at the 12 and 13. Oli Sapsford and Andy Muirhead complete the back three. Andy Muirhead had a really good game last week against the Crusaders, so someone to really, really watch out for. Then, looking at the Blues, Ofatungu Nafasi starts at the 1, Kat Eklund, Marcel Renata, that's the 2 and 3, Lachlan McFannel, and Sam Dury. I said McFannel because there's a language where the H becomes the F. You get it. Anton Segner. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce his name, so that's why I pronounced it that way. Anton Segner, Dalton Papali, and Hoskins Tutu, the 6, 7, 8. Dalton is the captain. Finlay Christie, Stephen Profeta at the 9 and 10. Caleb Clark at the 11. Peter Aki and AJ Lam at the 12 and 13. Cole Forbes, 14. And Zan Sullivan at fullback. Looking at their bench, they're also missing a lot of key players. Cam Christie out for the season, Corey Evans, Jordan Lay, Patrick Tuipulotu. Yeah, that's all players that are missing. But they have Slater, Tupaya, Mason Tupaya, Sam Matenga. Mason Tupaya, by the way, is Queen's brother. Josh Beer, Toran Barnes, Funaki Zavitaele, and Kodemeru Vai. I've never seen any of those guys play. I'm not even going to lie. So, I've seen them play, but I can't remember. I saw them play last week, at least 2 or 3 of them. But anyway, just give me a few weeks. We'll know the whole squad. Angus Gardner is going to be the ref in that game. And, this is going to be a tough one. But the way the Brumbies are playing, just going to the Crusaders and just showing them how to play. The one thing I realized last week about the Force is that if the Force had a bit more discipline and the wind was not really killing them, they'd have caused more problems. So for them to even come back and score those 2 late tries, make it a 10-point game, like, they really showed that you can come at this Blues side in different ways. So this is a tough one. But I think the Brumbies are going to just keep rolling. They're currently tied second. Actually, no, they're first. Point difference of 58 over Waratahs 47. They have 10 points alongside the Waratahs. So, yeah, I'm expecting them to maintain their lead at the top and get at least 4 points from this game and beat the Blues. And give them the Blues. All right. Now, what do I want to do next? So, I want to talk about my fantasy team. My fantasy team... I made the fantasy team already, so I just want to show you guys who I have on the team. So, if I can get all these things right, guys. Some technology can be quite, All right, so I have Ethan de Groot, Asafa Omo and Jerry Prophet. And then at the 4 and 5, I have Shaw and Tupovai. Then Kale, Papali, and Failangi. I switched Failangi very late, and I brought him on for... Who did I remove? Tizano. Then at the 9 and 10, I have Roygard and Pellegrini. I just feel like Pellegrini is going to get me some points against the Force, or I didn't have enough money. It's one of those two. My 12 and 13, I have Proctor and Fainganuku, and then my back three is Tool, Finingianofo. I was going to butcher his name, and Leroy Carter playing against the Crusaders. Currently, I have seen like I've captained. I might have to change my captain. I might have to change it to like Billy Proctor or someone, because I know that. In fact, let me just captain Billy Proctor, because I know that game is going to have points in Fiji. But yeah, that's how my fantasy is looking like. And yeah. Is that it? I guess that's it for me. So Super Rugby weekend is on. I really hope to see you guys enjoying the game. I'm going to have a heavy weekend, so I don't think I'll go live for any games, but I will be doing so in the near future. And yeah, guys, let me know what you think. If there's anything I can do differently, if there's anything you want to see me do and or talk about as we go along with the Super Rugby journey. That's been my time. Box to box rugby overlap. This is the Super Rugby Round 3 preview, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.